Hello, and welcome to Soothing Pod's Sleep Stories. My name is Joe, and today I would like to help you relax and fall asleep, guided by my voice and the story you are about to hear. Tonight, we're going to travel to Yosemite Valley and hear a wonderful tale of a family of animals searching for two little cubs. Before we begin, let's take a moment to relax our bodies and our minds. Lay flat on your mattress. Allow yourself to let go of any tension you may be feeling. As you breathe in, focus on the sweetness of that breath filling your lungs. Imagine the air around you as a warm, yellow light. As you inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, imagine the air entering your lungs, turning into a wonderful gold light. The air entering your lungs is rich and comforting. And as that gold light wells up inside you, slowly begin to exhale. As the air leaves your lungs, imagine it filling the room around you with warmth. With every breath you take, you're turning the air around you from yellow to that cozy, sparkling gold. Continue to breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Can you feel your body being embraced by the warmth and comfort around you? Now that we've relaxed a little bit, let us begin. Long, long ago, high up in the Sierra Mountains, a mother led her two cubs down the Merced River. It was springtime, and Yosemite Valley was in full bloom. Daisies and poppies sprouted out of the rolling green meadows. Butterflies floated from flower to flower, making their way through the fresh spring air. The cubs looked around in awe. The world they had been brought into was so beautiful, and they could feel that there was a magic in this place. As their mother led them alongside the river, they gazed up with starry eyes at the high peaks around them. Even as small as they were, here they felt safe. Their mother led them deeper and deeper into the valley. The bears splashed in the shallow water along the way. The cool glacier water felt relaxing on their tiny brown paws. Further into the stream, they could see fish swimming against the colorful rocks, shining in the morning sun. There seemed to be life all around them. After walking in the stream and gazing at the beautiful landscape, their mother finally led them into a grove of trees. Overhead, they could see the squirrels chitter-chattering and lounging on the branches. Birds called, singing their peaceful song to anyone who would listen. "I'm going to go collect us some berries, my dears," Mother Bear said, rubbing her soft muzzle against her two children. "Stay here and be safe until I return, okay?" The little bears agreed with their mother. They watched until she disappeared further into the forest. With their mother gone, the two bears walked down to the crystal clear river once more. They hadn't had their fill of fun yet, and now was their chance. The little bears stood on either side of the river, splashing and playing to their heart's content. Other animals from all around the forest watched them from the trees, from the bushes, from the sky. The little bear's laughter and the joy seemed to carry through the fresh valley air for miles. After quite some time playing in the water, the bears grew sleepy. With their coats wet from the cool water, the little bears returned to the flat rock where their mother had left them. They curled up on the rock, welcoming the warmth from the granite. They felt their coats begin to dry from the cozy heat of the rock and those beautiful springtime rays from the sun. As their coats dried, they found themselves curling up against one another. Their chests rose and fell in sync with one another as they tuned into the world around them. The birds chirping overhead were like a soothing lullaby. The sweet grass swayed around the rock in the soft wind, brushing against the granite with every single gust. Just over the hill, they could hear the soft bubble of the Merced River as it carried on without them. It was as if nature was truly lulling them to sleep. In that moment, the bears felt so peaceful, so comfortable. They had the warmth of each other, the warmth of the sun, and the cozy soundscape of the beautiful land. As moments passed, the bears found themselves falling into a deep, comfortable sleep. They felt weightless almost as the peace of the midday snooze embraced them. But as the bears slept, something odd happened to the rock underneath them. The rock began to grow, slowly, ever so slowly at first. It rose higher and higher and higher into the sky. It passed the pine trees. It passed by the sequoias. Soon it had crept so high into the sky, there were clouds brewing just beneath it. The little bears, deep in their slumber, dreamt of themselves climbing the highest tree in the valley. They could practically smell the sticky sweet scent of pine on their paws. When their mother returned to where she had left her cubs, she thought for a moment she might be dreaming. She had searched through the forest to find sweet berries and nutritious seeds for her children, but she couldn't find them anywhere. She called out to her cubs, desperate to find them. She sang their names like the birds sang their songs. It traveled through the trees, through the rivers, over the valley floor. The forest animals that had watched her beautiful cubs play in the river sat down beside her. They began to search every bush they could find, every tree, every crack in the granite and cave in the walls. But they couldn't find her children anywhere. The mountain bluebird ruffled her deep blue feathers. I'm going to fly as high as I can and see if I can see them in the valley, she said. She walked over beside Mother Bear and nuzzled against her fur. We'll find your cubs, Mother Bear. With that, the mountain bird flew up into the highest tree she could find. She felt the wind dancing through her feathers as her wings opened to take flight. With a gust of wind, she was soaring through the air. The mountain bluebird was weightless and free, gliding through the air untethered from the land below. Even high above the treetops, she couldn't find the two little cubs. She gazed over the land, seeing swathes of green grass and orange poppies, patches of cool granite, slivers of icy blue rivers and streams. However, she didn't see the brown of the little cub's fur. She even dove under the highest waterfall looking for the cubs. The mist peppered over her feathers, but rolled off like oil, cascading down onto the land below. The mountain bluebird decided to fly even higher. With the wind underneath her wings, she floated up, up, up through the grey clouds and into the bright blue sky. Once she was as high as her little wings could carry her, she saw them. The two little cubs still fast asleep on the mountain. The mountain bluebird felt a wave of calm wash over her body. She dove back through the clouds, all the way down to the trees below. "I've found your cubs," Mountain Bluebird sang. "They're asleep on the peak of the highest mountain." Mother Bear felt relieved, but she knew getting to the top of the mountain wouldn't be a simple task. She gazed up the cliff, her eyes traveling over every inch of granite until they reached the top, which was clouded by the grey haze of rain just on the horizon. "How will we get my little cubs down?" the mother bear asked. Around her, the animals all looked up at the high peak. The squirrels knew they couldn't climb that high. The bunnies knew they couldn't jump all the way up there. The mountain bluebird knew she couldn't carry the cubs all the way down. But the deer stepped forward, its tall antlers shining in the sun. "With my hooves, surely I can climb the mountain and bring your little cubs home," he said. All the animals gathered at the base of the cliff as the deer prepared himself to climb. He made his way from rock to rock in long, graceful arcs. But as the mountain grew steeper and steeper, the deer began to slide. He burrowed his heels into the rock, but it was no use. He slid down, 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 slowly, until he landed back in the soft valley grass below. The deer offered to try again, but Mother Bear didn't want to trouble him. There had to be some other way to bring her precious cubs home. Feeling a bit tired with no plan in mind, Mother Bear began to sing a song. Hoping to raise their spirits, the other animals chimed in, singing in beautiful harmony with one another. Tutokanula Tutokanula the animals sang. Their melody carried through the forest as the warmth of their spirit grew within them. The sweet feeling of positivity embraced the group as they sang together. "I can help," a tiny voice piped up. The animals looked around, searching for the source of the voice, but they couldn't quite find it. "I can help," the voice rang out again. Mother Bear looked down to a poppy by her paw, where a green inchworm sat on a vibrant orange petal. "How will you help, little one?" Mother Bear asked. She nestled down into the sweet grass until she was eye level with the flower and the inchworm. The flower rippled in the breeze, but the inchworm stuck on. "I can climb up and help your cubs. Surely I'll be able to make it." The other animals looked at the inchworm in disbelief. How could such a small creature make it all the way up into the clouds, all the way to the peak of the mountain? The inchworm made his way over to the base of the mountain, inching along ever so slowly. The animals all lounged in the grass, watching as he began his climb up the speckled granite wall. The inchworm slinked from side to side. He glided easily over delicate patches of moss, between the curled roots of juniper trees and the craggy edges of the stone that had long been underground. Below, the animals watched in awe. The inchworm had reached far higher than any of them had been able to. As the inchworm reached the clouds, he felt the icy breeze of the mountain air wash over his body. He could smell the fragrant juniper berries and the cedar needles on the mountain peak. Soon, the inchworm reached the top of the mountain. The valley floor below him seemed so small, yet so marvelous at the same time. He took in the sight for a long moment. It was almost too pure for the world. It filled his body with a kind of serenity he had never experienced before. Behind him, the little cubs finally awakened from their slumber. "Where are we?" one of the cubs asked as he gazed at the stirring rain clouds below his paws. "Don't worry," the inchworm chimed. "I'll guide you to home safe and sound." The inchworm began the peaceful journey down the mountain with the little cubs close behind him. He helped the little bears find footing all the way down the slopes. The sun began to set around them on their descent. The cliff face glistened in the orange glow of the sunset and painted the land below in the most incredible colors anyone had ever seen. Just as the moon began to rise in the sky, the cubs landed comfortably on the ground. They dug their little paws into the earth as if they couldn't believe it was real. Mother Bear embraced her cubs, pressing her black nose into their soft fur. They were finally reunited, and it was the sweetest feeling they could ever imagine. That night, Mother Bear curled up against the base of the mountain with her cubs. The inchworm happily crawled on her fur, settling down for the night with its new friends. As the stars began to dot the clear Yosemite sky, everyone felt completely at peace. Mother Bear watched her cubs' chests rise and fall, until the rhythm slowly coaxed her to sleep herself. And from that day on, everyone called the great granite rock Tutokanula, after the helpful little inchworm. If you visit it today, you can stand in the awe, beauty, and wonder of this masterpiece of nature. I hope you've enjoyed this story. Please join me again tomorrow night for another story. Until then, sweet dreams.